Free Guy is the 1606 political period piece based on Guy Fawkes and essentially how the Commonwealth of people tried to rally together to free Guy Fawkes from his imprisonment after the incident at Parliament. And oh wait, no, this is the Ryan Reynolds Free Guy, where he plays an NPC and is a really good guy, not just a good guy, but a great guy. Yeah, it is a film with Ryan Reynolds, who is Ryan Reynolds in it. Obviously fresh from Deadpool. He gives that same kind of position in his comedy. It is very similar in the kind of aspect of how he performs, but it's Ryan Reynolds. At the end of the day, you can't complain because that's who he is. In terms of this film, what we've given is a look into the world of Free City, and in Free City, it is a game much like a meld between GTA and essentially Fortnite. I'm assuming it's meant to be a battle royale thing because that's what all the kids are playing these days. But very much like in between GTA and Fortnite, I'd say more GTA. But obviously, there's a lot of people killing each other. There's a lot of people stealing and robbing, and that's kind of the main focus of a day in Free City. And Ryan Reynolds' blue shirt guy, as his name is literally Guy, he carries on in his job at the bank with his best friend, and that's their role in life, to wait for people to rob the bank. It's not until one day that a mysterious female crosses his path. That is the Millie character. I think her name's Molotov something. That's her kind of username. But on seeing this, Ryan Reynolds Fantasy by Mariah Carey starts playing, which is kind of his song. I think it's kind of noted throughout the film. It's something that I think is encoded in his programming as well. Spoilers. What we're given kind of is a character. It's a film based. Is it a love? Is it a rom com? I'd argue maybe so. But with a lot of kind of Ryan Reynolds humor in it, and kind of that sci-fi premise that is given also in Ready Player One. And I think one of the screenwriters is the same actually. There's a lot of cameos from different random people also throughout the film. Dwayne The Rock Johnson obviously plays a bank robber's voice. John Krasinski plays a voice. Hugh Jackman's a voice in it. There's a lot of random people, as well as Channing Tatum playing the character persona of one gamer. And the humor that Channing Tatum kind of brings to roles now is brilliant. I mean, long past the days where I know him as that guy from Magic Mike, I know him as the guy who turns up and is weirdly inappropriate sometimes. Like now this, and this is the end. But I will say in this, he's got some amazing dance moves. I'll move on because he's not a main character; he's just kind of a supporting role. But you've got Joe Keery, Steve from Stranger Things. He's in it, as well as obviously Jodie Comer, who is Millie Molotov girl, the kind of the love interest of Guy. She does a good role. I haven't seen her in too much, but from what I've heard, she's good in what she is in. And obviously we know Joe Keery from Stranger Things gives much the same performance. While as I think Jodie gives a bit of a wider range, not just the British accent, but I think she gives kind of more personality to her role, as Joe Keery is essentially Steve. Lil Ray Howery as Buddy is the best friend of Ryan Reynolds. He's quite good. He shows kind of a side of the characters that don't want to kind of come out of the game, that they understand that. Well, they don't understand they're in the game, but it shows kind of an NPC as we imagine they would be in GTA. Say they just get on with their day. They don't want to go the distance. They kind of want to stay under the wrap of the world essentially. One character I wasn't kind of blown away by was Taika Waititi. I don't know. I just was expecting a bit more maybe from him. I understand like he was playing an over the top CEO. You'd probably imagine working at Ubisoft or EA. To be fair, some of the stuff he says, like it does hit home with some of the big companies in the gaming world. But for me, he didn't really fit the role. But yeah, I think maybe they could have got someone different for that role. Maybe I again, I wouldn't know who to cast in it, but I feel like Taika Waititi has got such a range on what he does, and he's got that like amazing comedic timing. But I feel he was kind of shoehorned to the script here. To me, Free Guy is a mix between The Truman Show and Ready Player One. It kind of meets in the middle, and I say The Truman Show because Guy reminds me of Truman so much in kind of the aspects of what he does. When he finds out he is kind of, well, not when he finds out he's an NPC, but when he's kind of aware of the world, and when he finds the kind of Google glasses or whatever they're called that kind of show you what is in the world for a player character. He kind of transitions into I think he's trying to obviously win the affections of Millie, so he goes to her, and obviously she doesn't want to talk to a noob because he's only level 1. But her whole idea is, I'm not going to talk to you, and I'm not going to get you involved in what I'm dealing with unless you're at least a level 100. So, Guy, being the kind of unoblivious NPC, goes, okay, I'll get to level 100, but like obviously his character is he doesn't want to hurt anyone. He's an everyday guy. He's just kind of been thrown into this weird kind of glasses world, but he doesn't want to change himself, and so he decides to level up from 1 to 100 by being the not the good guy but the great guy of the game. And obviously he saves people from being robbed. He but he doesn't do anything violent. He makes sure he goes out of his way to not kind of shoot guns. Like there's a weird scene where he does like kung fu moves to take down people, then gets shot in the face and obviously respawns. But I think that's kind of where the gimmickiness of the film really worked. And I'd say in the first hour, like there's a lot of that. There's a lot of showing kind of that creative what they can do with this world and how they can kind of build on it. Obviously the different characters you've got, the different NPCs, they kind of work together nicely, and then obviously you throw the character players into the mix, and it's kind of carnage. But the idea of kind of this world where Guy lives, and obviously how he kind of starts changing it with the way he acts, and obviously people start to notice. They think he's a player who has kind of downloaded the skin of an NPC, and it's just running kind of not wild but going against the norm. And it's kind of that first hour kind of encapsulates that kind of humor, that kind of it's just a unique thing that we haven't seen. Obviously it's not a like completely mind-blowingly new idea, but it's kind of interesting to see the way it's done here. And again, that's why I say it's like the Truman Show. Obviously, Truman isn't aware of the cameras, but when he is, he starts to go off the rails. Again, something like that happens with our Guy here, when he finds out he is just an NPC, and there's this whole kind of backroom story of the servers being deleted and a new game coming out. And because when this game comes out, his world will be deleted, and that's where Antoine, Taika Waititi's character, is kind of the CEO making ready for this new game. And obviously he wants to delete this original one. And then Millie, Jodie Comer's character, tells Ryan Reynolds that this is going to happen, your world's going to be destroyed, all the people that you know are just going to be deleted. And I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of existential crisis there where the film kind of slows down. And I feel the next, I want to say it's an hour, but I don't think it's that long. It kind of drags its feet a little. The kind of charm from the first bit is kind of gone. You're kind of it's trying to handle like a more serious tone of what Ryan Reynolds' Guy is kind of going through, but at the same time it's like still doing that little bit of gimmickiness, and it just feels a bit weird. And then it goes kind of like more it feels like you're watching an episode of Mr. Robot with Jodie Comer and Steve from Stranger Things, Joe Keery, essentially doing this whole not political, but this whole we've got to get the server from Antoine Taika Waititi's character and make them aware that the game was actually built on something that they created. I mean, it's needed for the story, but I felt it could have been done in a much different way. Like maybe have those two characters' story be more background and have more focus on Guy, or vice versa. I just feel like because they kind of melded together a bit, the film stalled, and because of that, it kind of not lost my interest completely, but it did kind of dull it down for me, and that's why I don't think it's the next big thing. as I came out of the cinema, I said to my friend that I believed that it was just going to be a one-off, and I thought that's where it is. That's where it should be. But I then looked, and apparently there's an article saying there's going to be a sequel, and I don't think this film needs one. This film wrapped everything up. I don't know what they do with a sequel. I would be interested to see more of Dude, who is a character that they base off Ryan Reynolds' guy, but he is, I think it's Aaron W. Reed, the bodybuilder. It's his body Photoshop, not Photoshop, but they've edited Ryan Reynolds' face on top of him, and he has a blue shirt guy tattoo, and he is a complete and utter dumbass because they haven't basically finished coding him, so he's a gibbering idiot, but he's insanely ripped, and he wants to kill Guy. Essentially, they put Dude into the game to kill Guy, as Guy is about to find the original code of the original game that this new one that Taika Waititi's character has basically stolen and built his game off of. And the whole end premise is him fighting Dude, and it's a great fight. There's some amazing moments. I don't really want to spoil what Guy brings out, but he does bring some cool things. And then I remembered that this is a Disney film. I think it must be, because you'd find out at that bit. It's like I see. I'm saying that like you're gonna see it, but I think it's worth watching. I don't think, if there's something else on that you'd rather watch, like Black Widow or obviously the Suicide Squad, maybe even G.I. Joe's Snake Eyes, maybe that's your thing. I'd say this is still at least worth a watch at some point. Maybe you don't need to rush out and go see it now, but when it inevitably comes to a streaming service, it might be worth a go. I just think it's got, the first hour has a lot of humor, a lot of jokes. Not as many gaming references as I thought there'd be. I think I saw a Scorpion from Halo, and obviously there was a gravity gun from Half-Life at one point, and the portal gun. But like, obviously, again, it's not like Ready Player One where it kind of leaned heavily into that. Again, it leaned into the streaming side of things, which I hated. But hey, I'm guessing that's some people cups of tea. They like that. They like kind of the world that these streamers are in. And they obviously like the GTA Fortnite of it all. There is a Fortnite reference. Maybe there's several. I didn't catch them all. But yeah, I think, I don't know who this is more geared towards. Obviously, it's not as crude as Deadpool. It's more in a lighter tone. I'd say it's more kid friendly than the other ones that Ryan Reynolds has previously been in. But no, I think it's kind of a good all rounder for the family, essentially. Good characters. The only one that kind of disappointed me was Taika Waititi, as I said. But I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, but I did, in that first hour. I laughed quite a bit. There were a few jokes that got me in the second bit. Obviously, more towards the 10-minute mark, towards the end, where Guy fights Dude. Because I don't know, man, that dude, he just, he brings it, and I don't know why I found him so hilarious, but that kind of saved the end of the film for me, because otherwise I think I would have kind of stoned out a little bit. Just as a pre-warning, there is no post-credit scene. This might be a Disney film now, but it's not like it's brothers and sisters in the Marvel and DC universe, and it does not have a post-credits. You don't need to sit there waiting. If you do see it at the cinema, or if you stream it, when it does become streamable. Yeah, I think it's worth a watch. I don't rush out. Don't go mad and say I need to see this right now. You can wait. But yeah, no, I'd say it was a film. It was an alright film. Yeah, go see it if you feel it. But if not, don't worry about it. Ciao, ciao for now.